What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and I'm joined by Tyler, and we are back for our Pirates of the Caribbean Community Series, a bi-weekly, every other Friday show where we talk about Pirates of the Caribbean related topics, discussion, and all that. So just a little bit of plugging before we get started here. We have our Star Wars Community Series announcement video that went up yesterday. So go check that out. It's going to be, it's going to be really cool. Tyler and I are very excited for it. We got a lot of ideas for it. We're going to be starting that on October 5th. Go watch that video. Everything you need to know is there. It's starting very, very soon. That doesn't mean we're stopping Pirates. We're obviously going to continue it, but we're going to do them, at the same time together. It's going to be a lot of fun. We hope to see a lot of the Pirates community over there as well, and also, just a bunch of new people. Another thing really quickly is I was on John Swindle's channel, Sparrow's Nest, to review Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. That video is up on his channel. The link's in the description of our video. Go check out that video just to see, that the at World's End discussion. He's been on our channel a couple times. Very knowledgeable Pirates fan, great Jack Sparrow impersonator, always comments, so nice guy. Go subscribe to his channel if you haven't already. Final thing. What are we talking about right now? Well, we're going to talk about why we hate Blackbeard, much in the same vein as we talked about why we hate Angelica. But in 2 weeks, we're going to be saying a farewell to Hector Barbosa. That will be the video we do in 2 weeks, is kind of summing up how we feel about Barbosa, what his journey was. So we're going to be saying goodbye to him to kind of commemorate Pirates 5 coming out on Blu-ray. So it came out on digital. It's already come out on digital, but it comes out on Blu-ray in less than 2 weeks. So that Friday, we're going to have that special video. And then the next one after that, we'll talk about the actual content on the disc or the digital. We'll talk about the deleted scenes, all that kind of stuff. So we'll go into depth on that. So next time, 2 weeks, and we're going to say goodbye to Hector Barbosa and all that. So, Tyler, we hate Pirates of the Caribbean 4. That could be a video too. We hate On Stranger Tides. We hate Angelica. And Angelica's video, Tyler, was a very divided video. It was, I think, for the amount of likes and dislikes, it was about the closest we've ever gotten to split, where almost just as many people that liked it hated it. And I feel like that's fair because it's Pirates of the Caribbean. I feel like some people are too defensive on it, which is fine. We love the series too. That's obviously why we do this. But I think it's fair to be critical on this. And I think that's what makes you and me in this channel special, is because we're fans and we're very knowledgeable and we can talk about it, but we're also not dumb. We can point out weaknesses, and we've done it, since we started. Yeah, we're not biased. So we hate Angelica, but we also hate Blackbeard. And do you want to just give just a quick recap of, we'll talk about why we hate him, and then maybe we'll talk about what they could have done better with him. So why did you not like Blackbeard in Pirates 4?
Well, everybody knows the pirate Blackbeard from multiple different sources. Blackbeard is like standard, everybody knows pirate. I guess you could say like villain. But everybody knows Blackbeard. And when when we found out that Blackbeard was going to be the villain for Pirates 4, that was cool. Like, it was like, oh, that's cool. Like, now we get to see their take on Blackbeard. Davy Jones isn't as common, knowledge for the Pirates lore. Like, some people know about Davy Jones. Davy Jones was a person, blah, blah, blah. More people know about Blackbeard, so it was how are they gonna take on Blackbeard? It was pretty exciting, really, I thought. But then what did we actually get? We got definitely not Blackbeard. We got somebody who's slightly overweight, which almost doesn't even, in my opinion, go with those times. But you got a slightly overweight, short, older man for Blackbeard, who now Blackbeard should be slightly older. He was not scary looking at all. I feel like when you put Blackbeard next to Davy Jones, Blackbeard looks like nothing, like total pushover, nobody. Like, he's a pirate. Then you put him next to Barbosa, and you could say the same thing. Like, Barbosa has this look, or even Salazar. Barbosa has this look to him where you're like, yeah, I wouldn't mess with him. Blackbeard is like, I'd kill him. where and it's like, and like you said, like Salazar, you can tell like you really wouldn't want to mess with Salazar either. He just has that look. Where Blackbeard, I didn't get any look from him at all, like at all. And I actually think Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag's version of Blackbeard was a better version of Blackbeard, and even their Blackbeard wasn't that good. So apparently Blackbeard is just like a cursed character for anybody to do. But he like the whole, how in his beard he played, like this is like a true fact. Like he used to place, not a pipe, was it pipes, or he used to place something in his beard so that he would light it. So then like they would burn in his beard. They would burn that, not his hair. Though even the way that they executed that in the movie they could have been so much better. That was stupid. And then like his sword for whatever reason, sort of Triton, for whatever reason had magic abilities, and then it allowed his ship to then also have magic flame throwing and rope tying abilities, which we're not going to explain ? But we're just going to accept it, I guess. Oh, and then he can zombify people, and then he's also into voodoo. I mean, who is this person? I mean, what? I have a sword that controls my ship, and I'm into zombifying, and I do voodoo on the side. Oh, and I light these things in my beard that make me look kind of scary, sorta. Oh, and my long-lost daughter that I don't even care about, but I didn't... It's just, that whole part didn't even make any sense either. He's like in love, like he cares so much... Well, we know that he doesn't, which we'll get to. But he cared so much about Angelica. None of it really... I don't know. I'd like to meet the writer, I think. That's what I think.
Yeah, I feel like he was a byproduct of just, and we've talked about it, just an overall bad movie, bad script, bad support. I don't think Ian McShane was that bad, actually, as like the actor of Blackbeard. I don't think he did a bad job. I don't think he was given much. Like you said, he's not intimidating. I think maybe from the first time he walks out, he's slightly scary. I like the music when he opens the captain's quarters and he steps out. That's kind of cool, but then really from there on, it really just sinks. And like you said, there's just a lot of unexplained potential that I think could have made him better. With his beard, with the voodoo. The voodoo was cool. They could have done more with it.
Like everything that he could do, like everything that he did in the movie, all of the traits, just like you're saying now, like if they would have did it right, he would have been a cool character. But they didn't utilize it right at all, which we'll go over like how they could have. But like, yeah, he totally had the potential. See, in my opinion, and I'll ask you this question. In my opinion, no matter what, even if they did him right, he would still be the weakest villain out of all 4 Pirates of the Caribbean villains. What do you think?
I agree. I think, and I don't know if it's because of the supernatural element of the other ones, because technically he does have those supernatural elements to do things, to do the voodoo and to zombify people, if we even know what that means. And Jack even tells the story of how his head was cut off, and but that doesn't really jive with the way they were going with 4. Trying to make it, I think, more grounded even in a way, and yet you hear this story that like supposedly his head was cut off and he swam around his ship 3 times and he was back. But if that can happen, how can Barbossa just kill him? And that was another thing that I didn't like early on, and I think is what doomed Blackbeard, honestly, is from very early on we know his fate. Because Angelica says there's a prophecy that in a fortnight he'll be killed by a one-legged man. And at that point, we already knew that Barbossa had 1 leg. So it's like there's actually no guessing. There's no like suspense like there was in 3. It's like, in 2, it's like, are we ever going to kill Davy Jones? Like, what's going on with him? And in 3, you're even like, how is Jack going to pull this all together? When Davy Jones killed Will, that was obviously like no one... We didn't know who was actually going to end up killing Davy Jones, but in 4, we're just flat out told in probably the 20-minute mark that, yeah, Blackbeard's going to die by a one-legged man. We know who the one-legged man is, and now we know the main villain's going to die. So I feel like they didn't help themselves out because they kind of gave him like a timer of how long he was going to be there. Let's talk about really quickly, still on the hating part, and then we'll try and fix it. We'll try and say what we would do better. What do you think? Now, we've talked about Angelica in regards to the whole story and, Blackbeard's influence on her. So how do you think that the relationship with Angelica affected Blackbeard? I feel like that was not as bad as the other way around, because Blackbeard was kind of playing a game with her, and it was obvious. But from Angelica's point of view, it's just stupid she didn't see it coming. But from Blackbeard, it's a little better. But what did you think of that relationship from Blackbeard's point of view?
Well, first of all, I don't know about you, but I didn't feel any connection between those two, at all. Like any symmetry, like through acting. Like that movie is just a total mess. It really is. It's a B movie. But anyways, yeah, it's hard for me to even like answer your questions because like Angelica and Blackbeard and the acting and for Blackbeard we can even say what he had to work with. Again, not that I think if they would have did it right, he still would have been much better. They're just bad characters, and I didn't get the relationship at all. Like it for me, it almost seems like Angelica recently, within like a month and a half, or unless they said, just found Blackbeard. I don't remember, because I literally deleted. I did what Dumbledore did in I did what Dumbledore did in Pirates 6 and Harry Potter 6, and I literally removed the memory from my head. I got the sense it was rather soon, because then like that's why then she's like, oh well, I know somebody who might be able to help you, my sickly father. So I feel like it was like barely a month, and like maybe that explains the no chemistry, even though they're both so not madly in love, because that sounds weird, but like they care so much about each other. But like Blackbeard just has this like half-opened eye, doesn't care about anything, like look to him. Like remember the whole scene like where he does the guns and all that stuff, and then like the one that he was gonna do, that he was going to choose for Angelica, was loaded. Like, it totally would have killed her. But, like, when I forget if he pulls the trigger because he shoots upwards, like, or Jack does, Blackbeard's eyes are just that same, like, I don't care what's happening, where, like, he's, like, half asleep, where his eyes are, like, half shut. Like, but that doesn't make me afraid of you. That just makes me be like, I can totally do something to this guy, and he won't even know because he's half asleep. Yeah, I don't know. Like, Angelica and him, I don't know. I didn't get it, because I didn't. And now I'll be serious. For Angelica to care that much about her father, Blackbeard, to want to do what the whole mission, I'll call it, finding the chalices, blah blah blah, all that other stuff, mermaid tear, for her to want to do all that stuff, to try to put her life on the line so many times, even at the end. Like, for her to want to do all that, it's like there's never any time where Blackbeard like really like goes out of his way and you ever feel like, man, he actually does care about his daughter. You never feel that, like, ever. So then it's like you never feel a justification on her end, and it's weird. It's like weird, because then like you almost don't, and this is the problem too. The only reason you feel justification for what Jack did is because we, the audience, knows that, just based on like what they show us, that Blackbeard doesn't care about Angelica. He just wants to like live. But like, the problem is that because the audience knows that. But here's the problem: Angelica was always in the scenes that allowed us, the audience, to understand that point. And the other thing, too, is like, okay, Blackbeard, yeah, he burned those people alive. He did some bad stuff. But, like, the only reason that we feel that Jack is justified in doing what he's doing is because we know in our brains, well, he's the villain, so obviously it's okay for Jack to do what he's going to do to stop him. You know what I mean? But, like, there's never a time where, like, I like my villains, and I've said it multiple times, I believe, I like my villains where you can't tell the line if they're good or bad. I like that. Like Davy Jones. Like I totally get Davy Jones. I completely get him. Now, is he overly cruel and did he go too far, like with Will and all that stuff? Yeah, but I totally get why he became what. I don't get Blackbeard. I actually honestly don't even get Salazar, really, if I'm being honest. There's no justification. Like, am I glad Blackbeard's dead? Yeah, I'm glad that Angelica's dead, and so is Pirates of the Caribbean 4. They're all dead. None of that happened. It was in a different universe, and I erased it from my brain, and you guys should too. But it was like a what-if scenario. That's what I always tell myself, if I remember it, which I don't. But there's zero justification for Angelica's motives for her father. But I also feel that we really have no justification for the or not justification. Like, we have no reason to care about the end result of Blackbeard. Because like you said, we're told it not only in the beginning, so we know what's going to happen, but we have no connection to him. We have no connection to her. So her losing Blackbeard, or her father, that doesn't bother us. We don't care about Blackbeard. They didn't give us a reason to. And it just kind of seems like Jack's like in the middle of this thing where he's like, yeah, I'm just kind of sort of here. And then like he does what he does, and then it's like, okay, and we're done. So it's almost like all of it's so pointless that it's just a pointless movie. It really is. Like, it's totally a pointless movie.
No, it's a good point. I think 4 is really a fight of Barbossa versus Blackbeard. Because you find, like I said, you find out early, it's the one-legged man. Blackbeard is the one that destroyed the pearl, put in the bottle, killed, so we thought, killed all of Barbossa's crew, although now I guess he killed nobody because nobody was on that ship. He made Barbossa cut off his leg. And like you said, that's a good point. Like Jack, I think in this movie, more than any other movie, is literally just caught in the middle. He's literally like drugged and brought aboard. So like he had no reason to go on there. So he is right in the middle, but it's a good point you made that you can spin part of why Angelica's so bad on Blackbeard, because the movie, like you said, like I feel like the movie didn't know what kind of side of emotion to play with. Like, okay, Angelica's supposed to care about him, like unconditionally. He could do whatever he wants and she's just gonna always care about him, and that's annoying to us on her character. But honestly, that's actually kind of Blackbeard's fault, because they don't, and it's the writers and the directors, they don't show us anything on Blackbeard's side to show why Angelica would do this for him. And when you don't have that, now you just made Angelica look like she's an idiot. Because, like you said, every scene that we see of him being evil, other than Barbossa's story of the Pearl, is right in front of Angelica. So it makes Angelica look like she's just ignoring everything that he's doing, or like blindly just accepting it. And that makes her character bad. And you can actually trace that to Blackbeard. And also, just to really quickly point out, and then we'll talk about what we could do to fix it, I didn't like the chemistry between Jack and Blackbeard. I think Jack's had a pretty good like on-screen chemistry with all the villains. Obviously Barbossa in 1 and continued. Davy Jones and Jack, like I always loved seeing them together. And you don't see them together that much, but you see them a little. Even Salazar and Jack are kind of really cool when they're together, because Salazar actually really scares Jack. With Blackbeard, Jack, like you said, Jack doesn't really even care. It's more about trying to snap Angelica out of it and try and like just get the chalice, help Barbossa kill him, and move on with my life. And get the pearl back now that he knows where the pearl is. So I feel like Jack's chemistry with Blackbeard was like pretty not there, like at all. So what would we do to fix this problem?
I would put Blackbeard on a diet, number 1. That's for starters.
Would you focus more on the supernatural elements of him or aspects of him? Like, would you go full voodoo?
I would have did some... no. I would have got rid of voodoo. There's no point. What is the point of voodoo? He uses it twice. He carves the thing in Jack's chest. There's no point in the voodoo, because it's that and the waterfall thing, which you could have put a gun to the back of Jack's head and been like, jump, and then he, so just for that funny, that really wasn't even funny, like where Jack's just yelling. And then the end, like with Angelica and the thing, which that's all erased. So it's like, yeah, there's no point. So I would eliminate voodoo. That shouldn't even have been in there. I would have got rid of the zombies. That shouldn't even have been in there. And I think the reason for the zombies was because at the time, zombies was becoming a big thing. But you don't just say, hey, let's just, add like 2 or 3 zombies into our group. I mean, what? And then our zombies, they're going to be like big, bulky, weird-looking dudes with like things all over their body. Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah. So voodoo and zombies out. Sword of Triton stays. What the ship can do stays. Oh yeah, the ship and the ship and the sword should stay. He should go on an immediate diet, and maybe he should take some coffee in the morning, have his eyes fully open, have some sort of presence. That would be nice.
You got to have us care about him, right? That's probably like the biggest thing we can say is you gotta somehow make him relatable.
They should have had that. They should have made it seem like he actually. This is how I would have did it. I would have made him conflicted rather than like using Angelica, because you can relate more to somebody who wants something but then they want something else. So when there's a confliction where it's like, I want to live forever, but the only option I have, like make it like in, you can even have a similar fight at the end, similar, not the same, similar fight at the end where the only option that he has in front of him is Angelica. So and maybe he's like, maybe he got like kind of like mortally wounded or something. So it's like, either what do I do? Because I really and then but earlier on you have to make it so that he has clear intentions on, why he wants to, what he thinks, live forever, which wasn't the case, but why he wants to live forever, what he would do by living forever, show that dark side of him more than just a friggin' flamethrower on a little dinghy with somebody in it. Like, let's really light up another ship, like a whole entire ship, and just hear the screams, and then you see like the light from the fire on Blackbeard's face, and he just has this insane like smile. That would have been like, Jesus Christ, this guy's crazy. But then you would have given them some of the moments with batshit crazy also Angelica, where, it would have been like, yeah, okay, he is crazy, but there is this part in him where he's always going to be that killer, but there's this part in him where he's just, he can't, like, he's soft in this one spot.
And I feel like they had that in mind because they talked a lot about redeeming his soul. That was the whole point of Philip the priest, right? Is that, can his soul be saved?
But see, I would have got rid of that. I would have got rid of that too, because that was stupid. Like, as if that's what really would happen. Let's pretend for a second, and then I'll finish. Let's pretend for a second that Blackbeard did take Angelica's soul. Blackbeard did gain her however many more years. Do we really think that Blackbeard's whole mission was to save his soul? No, we know that's what he was just telling Angelica to make sure that she continues on this voyage with full intentions of using her life. Right? We all know that. Like, anybody can comment, like, we know that. Which you can keep that part, but get rid of this whole saving of the soul part. Just make it where, like, I like what I'm doing. I know my daughter doesn't like what I'm doing, but I feel as, when she's by my side, I feel slightly more whole, and it kind of, in a way, makes me not want to do it as much because I don't want to displease my daughter. So I'll only do it, when I have to do it, but that doesn't mean that I can't rule the seas. You know what I mean? Like something like that, where he'll have his opportunities to be who he is, but on those off days, he's with his daughter and he's more normal. So that, that's kind of good motive for him. And it's like, yeah, I could get behind that. Like, some people just need to do that kind of stuff. I don't agree with it, but, some people, some people that are insane or whatever that they just like doing stuff like that. Sometimes, like, they'll always do that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? But then maybe they go home, like serial killer will just say. And I'm not approving of this, but I'm just saying, like, like a serial killer. He goes out, he kills 20 people, he likes it, goes home, and he doesn't really plot the next thing. He goes home and he's got a dog he's got at home. And then he's like the nicest guy with his dog. He loves his little dog. And then until he gets the urge again. That's like Blackbeard. You know what I mean? Where it's like, I totally don't agree with what you're doing, but I can relate to how your daughter, because, everybody has something, like a dog, a cat, kids, brother, sister, like a little brother, a little sister. Everybody has something where they could kind of, or even like a doll, like for some whatever, little girl. Everybody has something where, like, they might be a little bit bad, but, and some people are, and you could just be like just a bad kid. Not like you just don't listen. But then, then there's this little thing where maybe you have a baby brother or whatever, and you're just very gentle with, and you choose not to be the way that you usually are, if that makes sense. So, that part is the part that I can understand. So now I just related to the villain, which is good. That's what we needed. But, so that, then the voyage happens, and it's like, and that's really like that's his full intentions. That's what I would do. That's his full intentions. Not to steal Angelica's soul or whatever. His full intentions, because I don't know if he knew that would be, see, that's the whole thing. That's what doesn't make sense in the movie. That's why he had Angelica, but he didn't know that's how the chalices worked. So like, there was no reason for him to have Angelica. We talked about this, I think, before, you and I, where, like, it was like a convenience. You know what I mean? But, like, the way that the movie went, there was no way for him to know that that's how the chalices worked at the time of gaining Angelica.
Yeah, we never saw him, like, know that knowledge. Angelica told Jack, but we don't know if Angelica told Blackbeard.
I don't think Blackbeard knew that, because if Blackbeard knew that, and Angelica was like, oh, he's just going to use somebody from the crew, he's not going to use me, his daughter. But, like, there's no way that I don't think that Blackbeard knew that fact, because if he knew that fact, then she is fucking retarded. Because, like, she would be the youngest one, I think, on that whole crew, besides Karina or the priest guy. But she totally believed he was going to do this soul saving. But anyways, so it had that relation between the audience and Blackbeard, like I said. Have that be his objective, not to just steal or to use his daughter. That wouldn't actually be it. I again would make it where he hopes to live longer so that he could be with his daughter more, where he didn't have her before. But then I would add the conflict at the end where it becomes a decision. I didn't know. I thought if I just drank from the fountain, I would gain youth forever, or like I would live forever. I didn't know that I needed to take a soul in order to do that. And the situation presented, the only soul that he has as a viable solution, I would make it so that the only choice he has is Angelica, or he like bleeds out to death or something like that. Then that's how I would structure that. Then we would see, then I would do the same thing though, where he chooses to take Angelica's soul. And that's when like Jack would stop him. So like at the end of the day, he was the bad guy that we thought. He really, although he wanted to be with his daughter, being who he was more important to him, so he was kind of selfish. And to me, that's so much better. Not, it doesn't have to be exactly my example, but what I just think that what I just said, that just makes more sense. Because then in those moments, it's like, oh shoot, like you would literally forget that Blackbeard's the enemy, because then you'd be like, oh Jesus, he wanted to totally be with his daughter. That's why he was doing it. He wanted to be with his daughter the rest of his life. Now he just found out that he has to take somebody else's soul, which he's fine with, to live for only a few more years, whatever years they have left. So he'd be fine with that. But the issue is, the only option he has is his daughter, which he wanted to be with. So it's like, what the hell? You know what I mean? Like, that would be... And then that's when you forget that he's the villain. And then all of a sudden, he's like, yep, I'm going to kill you. And then he goes to do it, and it's like happening. And then it's almost like the Ben Kenobi, Kylo Ren, like full... He, like, with the whole blue and the blue light and the red light on his face. And then when he makes a decision, all of a sudden it goes full red. It's like that, where it's like, oh shit. Where then you remember all of a sudden, like, oh my God, I forgot that he was not only the villain, he's a villain. You know what I mean? And he's not the main character. You know what I mean? So that would be so much better. On top of, what I said earlier, like, I would have, you don't have to have the Black Pearl or like those type of ship battles, but there should have been some kind of confrontation earlier on with the Spanish or whatever, where he just, like, maybe like an early Spanish fleet or whatever, or he just decimates it, like, with the flames and the rope. Like it would have been a scary almost scene where it's like, holy crap. Where maybe like just with shadows or something, you can see that he's hanging people and strangling them and crushing them, and then just again, then you see the fire on his face. And it's like, Jesus Christ. And then that what I'm just saying, what I was saying about the Kylo Ren type thing with the light, that was the light early on, and then we would get something similar towards the end, where it's like, oh, that's right, where like maybe like some kind of red light from, maybe there's like a jewel, or maybe not red because that was in 5, but some kind, maybe like a fiery, maybe something happens inside, and then that fire. Then we see that fire come back on his face at the end when he makes his decision. Then it's like, oh, yeah, now I remember what he did earlier.
I agree. They needed to show, I think, and, just even they need to show off that to the point of he needed to show off he was evil. I think that's extremely important that they should have shown. And that's a larger problem with Pirates 4 and 5 is very few sword fights, very few ship battles. I think that was definitely missing from 4. It is a really great opportunity to show the power of Blackbeard, is to show him sinking another ship, and all we're told is a story, which is a good story from Barbossa, but we don't actually get to see it. And I think that obviously hurt it.
We hear noises while the story is happening.
Honestly, I kind of like that. Now, would I have preferred to see it instead? Yeah, but I did like when he was telling it, how you could hear like the echoes in the background. I did think that was actually good.
I used to do that in first grade, and I got this other kid, Brandon, in trouble because my teacher was reading a book, telling a story, and I was mimicking the noises. And then Brandon got in trouble. He got the red card, and I was like, whoopsie.
You're going to get the red card now. So let us know what you guys think of Blackbeard in the comments below. Did you like him in the movie? Did you think he was poorly used? How would you fix him? All that stuff. Again, the Star Wars Community Series announcement video is up on our channel. Go watch it. We're starting it very, very soon, October 5th. We're going to have a lot of fun. It's going to be every week. We have a lot of topics to cover, getting ready for Star Wars Episode 8. Part of our larger goal to do more community series and engage with you guys. So check that out. 2 weeks, we're going to be talking about saying goodbye to Barbossa in Pirates 5. Obviously, he died. Spoiler alert. So, thank you guys for watching this video. Go watch our Star Wars ones, and go watch any of our other Pirates of the Caribbean community series. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.